Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so another day edit, man. Feeling pretty positive. No complaints on my end. Just trying to take care of everything that I have ahead of me before the Laker game starts tonight, 7:30. Nothing too crazy as far as my schedule is concerned. But I am getting out a little later because I did finally set up my appointment for the doctors after all this time. I accomplished that just now. It took a little while to get it done because they had a process where they can have you know, just like a lot of companies, you can have a callback. And so I put in the process for them to call me back. The phone didn't ring. It went straight to voicemail. Didn't give me an opportunity to answer the damn phone. I've never seen that before. So you just see your voicemail notification pop up, say you got a voicemail. And then you look on the phone to see if you actually registered a missed call, and there's no call there. So I'm like, what the hell? So I had to call back again after waiting like 15 minutes for that call. So I had to go through that process again. So it didn't take long for them to call me back. Maybe I have another 15 minutes. And then I was able to set up the appointment for June 11th in Santa Monica, which is crazy when you really consider it. But that's what's going on, man. June 11th is when that's supposed to go down. And so I'll be ready for that 10:45 in the morning that day, whatever the hell's going on. It's March, y'all. It's mid-March right now, so who knows where I'm gonna be in freaking June. But I know my intention is to be at that doctor's appointment on Pico in Santa Monica. So I take the train all the way to Santa Monica. So I'll be getting up early that day. But yeah, that's done. So I'm glad that got taken care of, and at least we have a date set up. Expectations is to not only have a doctor's appointment, but they're going to do blood work. So I'm going to get poked up for the first time in a long time. I'm not a big needle person at all. So we'll just be ready for that mentally. But yeah, man, other than that, it's just a lot of stuff going on. Of course, we had a lot of conversations about what happened in Gaza. So we will probably touch on that as much as possible going forward. We also got everything that's going on with Wack and them. And that situation is weird, man, I tell you. But I told y'all months and months ago on this channel that they were going to bring, not Wack 100, I said Wack 100, but it's Big U. But whatever the case may be, they said they're going to bring Rico West. I told y'all, they're not just going to do that in the East Coast and Atlanta. If they're going to be successful with that in the East Coast and Atlanta, they're going to want to bring it to where the big dog's at out here. And sure enough, we got our first high-profile Rico case with Big U and several other guys from his team, and it's what I expected. It's what I expected. And I told people, if y'all gonna do this, if y'all gonna go around getting on the internet, claiming this, claiming that, getting on Clubhouse, conversing about things, and getting on Adam 22's platform and running y'all mouths, y'all gonna put 2 and 2 together for these people that put people away. I don't think people understand that. They don't get that. For whatever reason, they don't get it. You're putting 2 and 2 together. If you look at a chart, and you have different things that come together on that chart, and then you have blank spaces on that chart, and you need something to fill in those blank spaces to make everything you're looking at make sense. Anytime these guys get up on TV, say anything, even if they don't think they're saying a lot, they often fill in those blanks for the feds. They often fill in those blanks for the cops. So if you're snitching on a dead person, snitching on yourself, snitching on somebody else, it doesn't matter, because the bigger picture for what they're looking at is just somebody to fill in the blanks, so all this other stuff they're looking at can make sense. So it can give them just a hint they need to add other things together. And y'all running y'all mouths like y'all like they ain't hunting y'all like this. It's deep, depraved stupidity, man. And I just, at this point in my life, I'm not amused by it at all. I've seen too much of this in my life to be amused by this stupidity. It's not smart at all. And so at this point, it's like, that's why, to be honest with you, and I think I'm a civilian saying this, but most people who are active will say this. Gangbanging is a child's sport. It's sad and as depraved as that statement may sound to you, people who are grown-ups, who understand what it is I just described about the charts, you shouldn't probably want to have anything to do with gangbanging, man. You shouldn't probably want to have anything to do with that. That's a kid's game, dude. It really is. They're doing grown-up things, but most of them will tell you they got started when they was in their teens or their pre-teens and just stayed with it. But you shouldn't be trying to join nothing like that if you're a grown-up, man. You shouldn't be trying to be a part of something like that or trying to intertwine yourself with these politics as you grow older. Because the logic and time and life will teach you why that ain't nothing to be a part of. Now, if you already in it and been in it the whole time, it becomes a situation you can't escape. A lot of what your interactions are about that. A lot of what it is that you have business-wise is likely intertwined in that reputation somehow, and so on and so forth. But the truth of the matter is you want to be legitimate, man. You want to be legitimate. You don't want the feds knocking on your door. You don't want people that you are associated with to have you roped up into situations because they got roped up into situations, and now they got to figure out how to get themselves out of it, and you are suddenly an easy way to do so. You don't want any of those interactions, man. Hold on, got to tie my shoes. And you got people who've accomplished a lot. Some of these dudes is famous. Some of them made millions of dollars. But they still end up in the same damn jail cell as the next dude. Why? Because they get roped up in stuff early on and they don't get away from it. I don't care how many good things Big U trying to do in his life. He's still associated with the blue team, and because of it, you're always going to have somebody who's going to be able to rope you into something that they had no business doing. That's why I don't believe in being a gang member. Because now I'm going to be associated with people whom I'm not necessarily next to when they do things, because I'm part of what they do. It's just, it doesn't actually add up to what is positive in your life, what is going to allow for you to walk the streets without looking over your shoulder. Whatever y'all think come out of that. And once you start to try to go legitimate like Big U, look at where you at. That man got a son in the NFL, then knows all the celebrities, has foundations worth millions of dollars, homes. The American dream is in his pocket. And yet, what's bringing him down? Same old shit. The blue team. And people being able to say that you did this, you run that, you do this because you're a part of that. You didn't want everything, but you still associated with this to a point where now when it's time for people to go down, you the guy they saying need to go down. Now, did he do the things they said he was alleged to do? I don't know. You hear things, you know what I mean? But growing up in Los Angeles, you hear things. But at the end of the day, that man had it. He's had it made, bro. He had it made. Devin Henley, not big draws, not Big U, but Devin Henley had the American dream sold up. But because he was associated with such and such, people could say this and this, and now they can go ahead and rope him up. Even if he didn't do any of this stuff, they can rope him up, put him through the system, have him paying all his money into legal fees, having all his businesses shut down, having his name rubbed through the mud. If he wasn't guilty, he might as well have been. Put it like that. Because he's going to go through the same thing. It's going to be the same results. Now, maybe you say Devin Henley doesn't find himself in those situations if he isn't a part of such a team. But guess what? These situations ain't worth the reward, bro. There are other ways to make success happen for yourself. So, I don't know, man. I never met that man. I frequented the neighborhood that he's from a little bit. I mean, I went to church in some of these areas and, you know, shopped in these areas, but I'm not from these neighborhoods. You know, I'm not a guy that's familiar with everything everybody got going on. I know some people who claim this or that associations or whatever, but I don't know any direct, real members. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. And so it's far be it for me to tell you what type of business or if this is true or if there's anything to it that I believe is legitimate. I don't know, bro. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that particular man who is the guy singled out in this operation, he should have long distanced himself from that childish shit. I'm just being honest with you. He should have long distanced himself from that. And that's what I need to tell all my people. If y'all serious about winning in this racist, capitalistic society where they don't want you to win, if you're black, brown, or any type of indigenous, they don't want your ass to win. They're going to squeeze the walls on you if it looks like you start winning, especially if you're doing stuff that they know you shouldn't be doing. If they know it, they got the leg up on you. It's many of people that they want to squeeze, but they ain't got nothing on. This is what y'all got to understand. There's many of people that they would love to tear down that they cannot, because they're legitimate, because they do things the right way, because their house is in order, and because they follow the way they're supposed to do. They waiting for these people to mess up. But until they do, they just got to watch them win. So who do you think they're going to go after? How do they make up for them losses? How do they make up for that emptiness that doesn't allow for them to tear that black person down? Well, they go after you. They go after you, who's a little shady, who got a little bit of this going on, who's involved in that organization. Who knows them people who have their mouth, you know, they name all in somebody's mouth, who's always up to something they ain't got no business doing, looking at clout chase on the internet. They go after you. Because they can't get so-and-so, he's got it all made. Who they really want to tear down is a black man worth $10 billion. But they can't get to him for whatever reason. They really want to tear down LeBron James. You see what I'm saying? They really want to tear down some of these dudes that got it all together. Who they can't touch. But they can't touch them. So they're not about to just sit back and just twiddle their thumbs. No, they got to get somebody. And it's going to be you. Because you offer up the ammo for which to shoot back at you. And they be damned if they don't win in this racist ass society. And so that's what I'm telling y'all. We start talking about criminal organizations, stuff like that. Do you think they're going after the people who are actually doing the worst things in the world? Hell no, that's them. And out of the evil of their heart, they're going after black people. They're going after brown people. They're going after Arab people. They're going after anybody that ain't in their pocket. That they can feel good about tearing down without feeling like they eating away at their own numbers. It's this white supremacy. That's where you are. Gang member. That's where you are. This ain't you don't control the walls. Anytime they see you winning, that's a loss for them. They take a great deal of spiritual pride in watching you fall and being the reason why it happens. Especially if you're gonna give them enough rope from which to hang you with. Have you forgotten where you at? And see, that's the problem. A lot of these people are too stupid to know where they at. They think they can win here. They think they can negotiate with these people who take spiritual pride in watching them fall just because of their skin color. They think they can win in an environment they control. No, you can't win here. Not so long as you're aiming for the same thing they tell you to aim for. You're playing into a trap. That's a fly trap for you. They take great pride in bringing you down, bro. And you are not the biggest fish. They losing in that area. So they gotta get your ass to make up for that. And that's what I want these people to understand who follow me, who are black. You need to fly right. Or white supremacy is coming to put you away. Yes, there are worse, bigger, badder, deadlier donkey minds out there than you. But they're not interested. They don't take no pride in bringing each other down like that. They don't get to walk away and look each other in the eye and slap each other in the hands for bringing down one another. That don't move them. That don't move them. What moves them is moving you out of the way. When your black ass is winning, when you made of almost $1 billion, but you're doing all type of nefarious stuff, they want you up out of here. And get that victory. It enriches their spirit. It massages their ego and their mind as a people. I'm trying to tell y'all something. They don't want to hear me. Some of y'all say I'm racist. Maybe you don't subscribe to this and don't believe in it. It's true, though. You know what I'm saying? For all my white friends who don't subscribe to this, Yeah, don't deny this. This may not be something that you subscribe to, but you better believe your cousins subscribe to this. A lot of them do. A lot of them do. They're not looking to hold people accountable who are doing the worst things in the world. They're looking to hold people accountable of whom they feel better about bringing down. You can see the smirk on them cops' faces when they were talking about the criminal enterprise known as the C-Team that Devin Henley's a part of. They take great pride about that. There's pride in that. They brought your black ass down. They cleaning up the streets of the criminal enterprise that they most fear, which is organized African Americans with money. They don't want you to, and arms, and the ability to make more money and influence more people, independent of them and their allies. You don't control the walls. You got to keep your house clean. You got to understand where you at in order to win. And you got to know when to leave some on the table, when to fold, when to walk away, when you know you've won. Stop being greedy. And most importantly, distance yourself from these organizations that they're looking to wrap up in RICO cases. This shit ain't cool no more. They're going to put your ass in jail, bro. Like, literally. Not just for what you did, for what everybody in the whole crew did. For just being. That's the angle they most appreciate, is being able to wrap 1,000 black people up and throw them all in the cage. Getting one or two of them ain't the rage. It's being able to put a good portion of them bastards in there, leaving them without ways of raising their children. Single parent households that are going to raise more of the same. So they can put more of them in the cage, more of them in the cage, till there ain't too many of them left. And over the course of generations, it will be purity, and white supremacy can continue to do what it does. And for capitalism and all of that can be them and their allies and those that they ultimately own. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. They done rigged the game to make sure your black ass don't get to the top of it, let alone be able to do what they do. And since they think everybody's as evil as them, they're going to most definitely expect you to be as evil as them if you would ever get that type of power. So it's not just about the ego keeping you from getting that power. It's self-preservation for these people that you most definitely don't get as strong as them. Because if you do, obviously you're going to do to them what they do to everybody else. Because there's no way human beings aren't exactly what they are in their minds, right? This is why they're so aggressive in being so awful toward everybody. Because they're so fearful if they don't, that awful energy is going to be pointed at them. God forbid people just be merciful amongst one another, right? No, hell no. We're all as bad as them in their mind. We're all as vicious and cruel, even more so. So that's why I'm telling y'all, look, man, you can't win in these games. Y'all want to play games, gang games? You ain't going to win nothing, bro. They're going to put y'all in jail, bro. All of you. One by freaking one. And just because the calendar ain't turned the day on that, don't mean that day ain't coming. It's just what the goal is. It's just like we talk about with same devil in regards to what's going on in the Middle East. Just because they call for a ceasefire for 5 minutes while they put a new face on the American machine, out with Biden's drugged up ass, in with Trump. Listen, they got right back to the killing. They got right back to the bigger picture, which is to annihilate the Palestinian people for the sake of their own interests. Just because they want to leave us an example to understanding what they can do to everybody else. Just because they're trying to finish the colonial project known as Israel. Just because these people would dare buck them for even trying, you know, like to stop them. It's not. It ain't deeper than that, man. And when you understand the spiritual energy that they gain from winning these battles, taking over these lands from these people of these people of color, what they set to continue to add to the legacy of what it is they've ultimately done as conquerors. They're trying to make their ancestors proud. They're trying to make their cousins proud. And most importantly, they want to keep you from doing what it is that they've done. They got to dominate the world, man. Not just control it, but like destroy any of remnants of it that ain't what they want it to be. And you are one small monkey wrench in that process, hurting that bigger picture. Every time your black ass get $1 million, or every time you have influence of any kind that doesn't ultimately align their pockets with significantly more wealth than you're able to get off your own self. Anytime you do anything like that, it's like, yo, this is a problem. This is a loss for us. This is a piece of hell in our existence. We can't let it happen. And when you understand that, that's what drives them. It's what drives their ambition to dominate the world. Then you understand why you shouldn't be playing certain games in a space from which they dominate so much. This gang life, you can't win that game. You might as well crawl into a grave right now. You might as well just go turn yourself in and commit, and let them know every crime you ever committed, because that's exactly the fate that you ultimately headed toward when you keep playing these type of games like you can actually win capitalism. As a black or a brown person, you cannot win that game. You cannot win that game. That is not a game set up for you to win. It is rigged against you. You got to have different wants in this world. If they happen to lose 2 or 3 of y'all to success, that's fine. But the real success that they're aiming for, you can't have. They know that a few will slip through the cracks. They understand that. But as far as the most of you, hell no. That dream ain't even real to you until you ultimately realize the idea of what your true purpose is, which is not really much other than to take back from them what they've taken from everybody, literally. Until you understand that that is your real path to any type of long-term, true success, you're going to always find yourself reaching for something you can't have. They're going to slap your hand and then slap you in the cage. That's exactly how they're going to keep on treating you until y'all get it through y'all thick skulls that you're playing a game you cannot win. You can call me crazy if you want. The evidence is telling you this. It's the propaganda of trusting these people that ultimately make you feel otherwise. They already showed you 1,000,000 times what they're about. They do it to everybody. Literally everybody. Ain't nobody ain't screwed over. Ain't nobody they wouldn't put in shackles and control completely if it benefited them or if it was necessary. There's no depravity they won't scrape around in and then gaslight everybody for calling them out on it. There's nothing they ain't willing to do. They've been doing it the whole time. I ain't sorry. I want my white friends to understand something. If you don't subscribe to that, you need to be better than those who are living this representation every single generation to ultimately mold what it is that I'm telling everybody this is about. You got to be better than them. You got to be in your skin and then be better than them. It's the only way it's going to change, bro. As if people who are that aren't that, if that makes any sense. That's how this isn't true. No different than me not being willing to gangbang in my own communities. The only way that we're not going to be that is if we're not that. Make it true. Don't sit up here and try to deny that shit and you ain't doing nothing to make it true. You got to be better in your own skin and then respect my point of view because the evidence aligns with that. Evidence. I ain't just spewing, man. We got history, plenty of history of this. So if you stand in your space, benefiting from that, engaging in that, whether you're aware of it or not, you're reinforcing that it's true. And if you don't want it to be true, then you got to be something better. But I'm not here to make you feel better. Just like you're not here to give back what you've taken. You understand what I'm saying? It's not my role. My role is to embody the pain that I feel for the circumstances that ultimately have come all of our way. Not just black people way, but every indigenous black, brown person of any kind that y'all try to steal land from and ultimately just annihilate. Anyone you've done that to. I embody the pain of that and the perspective of that in my conversation here. And accountability, listen, we can talk about accountability, but if you're not willing to embrace your own, You can throw empty thoughts at me about how I need to hold myself and my people accountable. But if you're not embracing your own accountability, then we're just two peas in a pod trying to figure out how to blame somebody else for our problems. Do not throw accountability at me if you're not trying to solve the issue in your own community. If you're not trying to dispel white supremacy as a white person, do not tell me that I'm not trying to hold myself accountable for stuff that I'm not even doing representing my people. Black on black crime. What about anti-black racism? Look how horrible y'all are toward the Mexican people. Unapologetically horrible toward these people. And you want to look at my phone and say, well, I don't represent that. Well, too many of them do. I want to send these people back to places that are no good for them, that you ultimately have ravished and made it worse by your investment dollars. What you doing to the Congo? Look what you try to do to anybody that has any real oil wealth that ain't white. They're trying to take the oil from everywhere. Why you think they're going after the Middle East? It ain't just spiritual. They want that oil wealth. Iran, they want that oil wealth. Venezuela, they want that oil wealth. These people are scavengers. They're pirates to their core, whether they want to admit it or not. Whether they're willing to be accountable for it or not, whether they feel themselves to be the most sophisticated energies or not. They feel entitled to the world's things, and they're going to take it by any means, especially violence, while gaslighting you for wanting to respond in violence. And as long as you adhere to that psychological warfare, you're going to always be at the bottom of their boot. The only people who have the right to do anything horrible to anybody is them to you. And that is why this conversation is so relevant, and I'm unapologetic. I don't care that there's a few of y'all going to be offended by this. There's a bigger problem here. And if you ain't going to be a solution to it, then you're just reinforcing that it's true. I'm proud of me in regards to these conversations. I'm not interested in hurting anybody's feelings, but there are certain people out there who don't have any feelings for the feelings that I harbor. And you want me to be coof toward them? How many years have they proven me they don't deserve that respect? How many different facets of my ancestors have they proven to me that they don't deserve that respect? How many facets? I'm not interested in you not being interested in being accountable for your ancestors' crimes toward our people. I'm not interested in that. Just like you're not interested in me hearing this, saying these conversations. Y'all just want to go forward in unbalanced circumstances. Start at the top, we start at the bottom, but you want it to be even. How does that work? You giving back anything? No, you're not giving back nothing. So why should I care about your feelings about what it is I have to say in regards to it? How many of y'all good people gonna get back some of their wealth? Huh? Y'all ready to give up them reparations? Y'all ready to pay these Native Americans what they do? Give them back some of that land? Hell no, you're not giving them nothing. In all your good faith, you don't want to give back nothing that your people have stolen. So why the hell am I not holding you accountable for that? We didn't take it, we just inherited it. They stole it. We worked hard, so did we. See, that's where y'all end up messing up as well, thinking that we're supposed to respect your hard work from a space from which you've stolen much. Everybody worked hard in whatever they were doing. A lot of that shit that they were working on and standing on was stolen. You put 17,000 hours, I don't care, bro. We put in 17,000 hours and didn't get what we were supposed to receive. Don't tell me to respect that you put in hard work when you started from a space from which fairness wasn't found. Talk to me when you give back what it is you've given, what you've taken. Then we can talk about fairness. Then we can talk about hard work. Because we're working from the same space. You're working from 1,000 miles in the sky. I'm down here in the dumps. Same hours, same blood, sweat, and tears. But I guess I'm supposed to care about yours because you put in so much. And you tired. Good. We tired too. There's good people who are listening to me who say, I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay. So you start the process. That's wonderful. What about everybody else? You can't be accountable for everybody else. And therefore, I got to keep talking. You see what I'm saying? I can't not talk because you represent the right things on your side of the fence. There's many who don't. Thank you for giving me one more reason to consider that then not everybody is a certain way. That's all I can say to you, for those who don't embody that. Reinforce this conversation in your own households. Teach it to your children. That's what you can do next. But don't tell me to shut up because you don't embody that. Many do. That's who I'm talking about. And I expect for you to understand that, or at least hear my perspective and learn to respect that this is real to me and real to a lot of my people who are afraid to say anything. Because they're afraid of losing everything, or they think they have some fake delusion about actually winning this game that's rigged against them. They can't win that. They just ain't accepted it yet. I've accepted this. That game is not to be won by us. This game is to be discarded by us. We need to stop playing into its hands and start understanding this to be something entirely different for us. We've had everything measured out unfairly, more or less. If you have dark skin, or if you have been pushed aside by these same people that have been pushing us aside, you got to understand, this is not going to change until you stop being so damn kind to them about what it is that they've done to you. That kindness, that behavior, it reinforces that what they've done not only works, but they're right for doing it. That it is not a problem. That this is how the world is supposed to work. That they are supposed to keep doing this so that the world can function properly. That's what they internally believe. Yeah, we're doing wrong things, but the bigger picture is this is the only way people can be civil. Because otherwise, if the people of this or that continue to control things, we'll be in the dark ages, the stone ages. That's what they think. And though they contribute a lot to keep us out of those ages, they still need to control everything in order to feel like they actually can live in it. Because of the evil in their own hearts they apply to others. If they just do their part to assure that we have that part of what it is they bring to the table, then we'll be in a great space from which everybody can thrive. But because they got to do all of the extras to fulfill their belief that they can otherwise survive, it's why they are the cancer of the earth and have been since they crawled out of them damn caves and devised a way to turn us all into a bunch of slaves, whether it be black slaves or mental slaves. Be mad, stay mad, be aware. I mean what I say. Because when I think about all the things that y'all have done to people, you are not kind. I think about all these kids that's dying in Israel, y'all are not kind. Y'all silent, y'all complicit to one another in the name of white supremacy and Zionism. If y'all ain't standing up against it, you're quiet in the presence of it, and that is violence in the presence of it. And I am not interested in making you feel better about being a coward or a cheat or a tyrant or a baby killer or a racist or a bigot or any of these different things. I'm not interested in making you feel better about being that. And that's not my role in this world. It's not my role in this world to look at all the people who look like me and saying they're doing this, they're doing that, and then not look at you. Just leave it alone. That's not my role. It's not what God made me to be. That's not what my perspective is. That's not the truth to me. And since y'all want to shun the truth on so many different occasions or suppress it so that we don't learn from the mistakes of the past, it's important that people like myself continue to use our mouths to the best of our ability to raise awareness about what has happened there and the pain that it's caused, and then from there to draw a line to say that we're not standing for it anymore. You can't keep doing this going forward. We will not be silent. We will not take calm measures while you continue to push forward in your colonial practices against people of color. We're not doing this anymore. You don't get to stand back and gaslight us and say, oh, we're crazy for standing up, and why don't we get over it, and all these different things that y'all pride yourselves on being able to get away with psychologically against us. We're not doing it anymore. It was never okay for y'all to engage in the things that y'all engaged in to build the wealth that you have, to get the countries that you have. Stolen all land, you shouldn't have went about it that way. the things that you've done after doing so, some of that is really, really, really awesome. I will give you all the credit in the world for the good and the intellect that was poured into all of this madness. But it's still madness. It's still rotten at its core. It's rotten. You discard of people. You let people sit in agony. Some of them children, babies are in agony. And we are going along with it because of the system. It is a rotten core system. It's not something that should continue to be what is our core. Because it's going to beget more agony for young people. It's going to create more need to continue to steal and kill and maim and murder, all in its name. And the wisdom for those who engage in this to want to see it fall is that the truth is eventually it's going to turn itself toward you. But see that we haven't had the day on the calendar turn that way yet. Makes you feel like it ain't coming. This is the mistake that so much of evil makes all the time. Because it hasn't been held accountable yet. It thinks that there's no accountability coming. Or they think that they haven't learned to pay for it yet. They feel like they don't have to pay for it ever. And so the wisdom that comes from the agony that comes from actually facing that day when it comes makes them respect it at that point. Like, damn, we really shouldn't have did that. Damn, it really wasn't worth it. But until they're forced to see that, they still think it's worth it. They still think it's necessary. It's the wisdom of the suffering that comes from your actions that make you understand why you shouldn't engage in those actions. Allow me to place some wisdom upon you. You are going to regret these actions if it plays itself all the way through. But see, this is what happens when you don't love your lineage. White supremacy. A lot of y'all love the premise of what you're doing, but the suffering is going to fall on one of them little generations of white people someday that y'all claim to be family people, going to pass down your lineage. You think you can protect them for what's coming from your karma, and you believe because you have that you will going forward. But the truth is that you don't love them enough to actually protect them, because the only way to truly protect them from this is to not engage in this behavior. But because it hasn't come around yet, you think it ain't coming. Because you've been able to get away with it this long, you think you're going to get away with it forever. This is the mistake that every devilish entity makes. Thinking that not yet equals never. And when that day comes, they fall hard. When that day comes, they lose it all over might. When that day comes, they get wiped out. And then all of a sudden, what? Now we're wise enough to know we shouldn't have did this. Or, even worse, we had a good run. It was worth it. Is somebody going to be fearful enough of the consequences that could potentially be? Someone who's going to understand that not yet did not mean never for them and their people when they were going around doing evil toward everybody they could to assure that they can keep whatever they have, only to, by way of those evils, lose what they have? Is anybody going to see that coming and fear it enough to stop? Will it be enough for y'all to actually make a dent in the process of all this evil y'all been doing for as long as you've been doing it? Devil got a hold on y'all, and has had a hold on y'all for a very, very long time. This is the truth. This is the actual truth. It's not only effectively allowed you to do the deeds that he needs you to do, but he's also allowed you to think that it's not going to come back to you. He has a stranglehold on y'all. Hell, y'all even romanticize about some of his energy. Y'all think that it's cool to engage in his energy. Y'all think that it's powerful to engage in loser, devilish behavior. That is a stranglehold on your spirit. You are a victim. You have been spiritually warped. That's the problem. And because you pushed away people who could otherwise teach you that and don't listen to them and don't value what they have to say for whatever sorts of reasons, you don't receive the wisdom that comes with that. Like, yo, this is not good for you. He's going to sacrifice you. And what you're going to find out is it was never necessary that he did. That's the truth about a lot of what it is y'all been engaging in for as long as you have. You're going to be sacrificed by the enemy. And as you are, you're going to see all of whom you did what to inherit the earth behind you. That is what's going to happen. And it never had to go that way. You could engage in good energy and still accomplish so much. Probably more. If I know God, you would accomplish even more if you would have been more kind, more gentle, more humanely based as it pertains to your intentions. You would have had more solutions, more wealth, more devotion, more compliance from others if you would have acted in love and compassion instead of just domination and depravity and paranoia. You would have accomplished so much more. And the devil got a hold on y'all. Got y'all thinking that, oh, no. Let's continue to do as we've been doing because it's been working. Just like the devil do. On you. It's been working. Let's keep it going. And you as his imps, keep it going. It's been working. That day ain't came around. It's never coming around. As long as we control this, and this, we got it all covered. We can protect ourselves against God's wrath, karma's wrath, any other wrath. Because we control everything. You don't control everything. You don't even understand the vastness of everything that's out there. You haven't been to the bottom of the ocean. You ain't gotten to the farthest star. You don't control it like you think you do. It's your ego and the history of being temporarily successful that makes you think that you have it all under control. You don't have shit under control. You made many mistakes. You suffered many losses doing things this way. And it will be your kids that suffer the ills of that because you didn't respect that not yet did not equal never. You were playing God and God was never playing. It's unfortunate, but it's true, man. And so today, you let more of the same continue to drive you. Gotta finish the job. Ain't that what Trump said? Finish the job. It's colonial job, right? Palestinians and new Native Americans, right? Gotta finish the job. You think we don't know what you're doing? You don't think we don't understand the fullness of this crap? You don't believe in God. You think you God. You playing God. You ain't God. You don't believe in him. You don't know him. The enemy is who you serve. And he is a loser looking to sacrifice you. Just like you're looking to sacrifice a generation down the road that's going to pay for everything that you've done. You ain't one. I ain't sorry at all because I know I'm helping somebody. Somebody's going to hear this and be like, yeah, this all is actually true. Yeah, his point of view, it holds all its merit. Maybe it ruptures my ego because dare he is a blackie say something like this. But the truth of the matter is, evidence has been showing us for a long time. We're acting as if not yet is forever or never. We really are engaging in as if none of this is going to come back our way. We should probably start thinking about how this is going to affect some generation down the road. The problem is also that a lot of these people truly believe that they're protected by wealth. They really think that the wealth is going to protect them because they can pay for whatever they need in security, in surveillance, in technology, in medicine. They can pay for everything that they need to fulfill themselves. They can wipe out anything because they control a lot of the things that go on. They really think this. And it's, to some cases, they have a lot of evidence of this. But the problem is, as I said, there are things you do not control nor understand outside of the circumference of the earth you're in. You ain't figured everything out yet. You're still discovering things scientifically. You're still making mistakes scientifically to truly understand what you need, to truly understand what's coming. And a lot of what it is that you're trying to do in controlling yourselves and your people, trying to make sure that people don't rise against you, you're suppressing evidence in history that would allow people to put 2 and 2 together. So that they know, hey, yo, we looked at this the wrong way. They're moving as if the world they're in is the world that's going to be forevermore. A lot of people don't know the history, but they know how to function in the world that it is. They're not learning from mistakes that they need to learn from in order to make proper decisions in the lives they're in. They're going to suffer because people suppress history. They're going to be caught off guard by the wrath of people who've been on the wrong side of the wrath that's been pointed at them. And they ain't going to know why these people want to kill them. They ain't going to know why people want to do things to them, poison them, to open the back door on them. They ain't going to know why people protesting against them and boycotting them. They don't know why, because you've suppressed the history of the wrongdoings that's been done so that they can benefit from it. And as a result, they're in the dark. They're in the dark. A good portion of y'all are in the dark about the evil that has been done so that you have what you're inheriting. And so naturally, you're measuring things as if everything was balanced. Naturally, you think that people are supposed to get over what's been done because you don't truly know what was done. You just see people complaining. You hear trigger words like slavery. But you don't understand what the heck actually happened there and why the wrath is so powerful, why it's generational pain that you're seeing from people who didn't actually experience slavery but still are angry about it. You've been lied to and you're not doing the homework. You haven't been told what to question, so therefore you're not going down the right rabbit holes. That is what is wrong in a lot of cases. And a lot of us have our egos out front. So there's somebody questioning us in all our vast knowledge. We've done all the homework. We've done the hard work. We know how things work. No one's supposed to tell us anything because we understand more than they do in the areas we've studied. So therefore, who are you to tell me anything? I'm smarter than you. I went to school. I know. You don't. And that disconnect between wisdom and wrath makes it so that people don't understand what they're walking into when they listen to people like me talk about things that have happened. They're like, no, you can't tell me nothing because I know more than you. But it's not about more. It's about what did you study? What did you study? You went to school for 16 years, but what did you focus on? You didn't focus on what I focused on. So I know stuff that you don't know. You know stuff that I don't know. But to say that you know more because you've mastered something specific doesn't mean that you actually are smarter. It just means that you've mastered something specific. Or maybe 2 things, or 3 things, or 8 things. But there's still evidence you don't have that would help you be in the light for which you need to be in so that you can understand what it is that's coming at you for what it is that ultimately was done in your name. Why people are so angry at you from all different angles. And why people don't want to hear your retorts when we spew our frustration. The disconnect between our pain and your indifference and how it enrages so many who ultimately feel the pain we do. This, my friends, is why your reputation continues to sour in the world. Why you shouldn't align with people who look like you, who do things they have no business doing, hurting people the way that the people in the past have done. You don't know how bad that was. You didn't see how it played out because they suppressed that from you. All you see is the glamorization of the end game of the suffering. You didn't see the suffering and you turn away from it now. And the context from which would make you choose that choice has been depraved of you. So you're not even in a space from which you've been coached into seeing things the right way and therefore feeling the right way about those things. A lot of y'all have been brainwashed by propaganda that made you indifferent, that made you ambitious and egotistical, and made you play victim and think that you're justified in doing so, and made you indifferent to people who are actually victims of things that ultimately you benefit from. And this context, having not been driven into your head, is something you should respect. It's also something that's been depraved to you. So naturally, people are going to be angry at you, and you're not going to understand why, and you're going to be angry at the fact that they're angry at you, and you're going to be brash in that space. And that is what a lot of y'all are ultimately faced with. And you make mistakes in those spaces, and I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help y'all. I'm trying to help everybody, because if y'all continue the way y'all going, it's going to be more babies killed. It's going to be more colonial projects. It's going to be more genocides. It's going to be more people painted out to be something that they're not. This ain't the last of this that we're going to see. If you keep on the path you on. And remember what I told you. Not yet isn't forever. It's coming. Bdf 44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.